Jeff, good evening. How are you doing today, buddy?
Regan, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Jeff, I appreciate
It's good.
your time and your effort here to talk to me. I know we've been going corresponding back and forth on email a few days there before we even
Yep.
got anything hammered down. And I got a chance to look at some of your Instagram because I think I met you on TikTok. Is that where
Yeah,
I
I think
found
you
you?
saw my TikTok first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And that's where I
So,
post most of my stuff first,
smart
anyways.
man, smart man. I don't blame you.
Their
That's
video editor's fun. It's more fun. You can do a voiceover recording of yourself easier than anything else.
I have yet to do any of that. I spent all my time with screenshot or something like that. I don't remember what the software is, but
Yeah.
it's not easy. I'm watching tutorials all the time, messing with it.
Now, some guys spend a lot of time making some videos make look really nice.
Yeah, yeah. My goal is just to get a little bit better every time I do it until
That's right.
it grows into an actual physical difference. Like if you looked at my first one and my last one, you could tell that there's been an increase in quality.
That's right.
And people don't realize it's way harder to throw yourself out there, man. I don't know why it seems so easy to everybody, but it's really not.
I've definitely done that, thrown myself out there before I felt ready, but that's what everybody says to do, and that's how you get better.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Because
Yeah.
if you wait until you're ready, you'll never be ready.
Right.
The video will never be perfect. The editing will never be perfect. The audio won't be right. You'll second guess every little aspect. And I'll be honest with you. One of the things that caught me is your willingness to be out there, and I do appreciate that. On that note, I saw a quote on your Instagram. I'm gonna repeat that quote real quick because it really caught me because it's something I personally felt. With every act of self care, your authentic self gets stronger, and the critical, fearful mind gets weaker. Every act of self care is a powerful declaration. I am on my side. I'm on my side. And I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, I literally felt that in my life while I was doing my whole journey a couple years ago.
I found that quote. I hope I attributed that to the correct author of that quote, because
I
I felt it too,
Yeah,
just
man.
as I, just as you had read it just again and reminded me that it's goes straight to the point.
Yes, and some people can word it better than you'll ever be able to. Not that you haven't felt it or thought it. It's just the articulation of it can be said so much better by someone else that's more well versed at being able to say it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I appreciated that, and it really motivated me to really dig in and ask you, how long have you been a coach? How long have you been doing straight?
Coming up on a couple years
Okay.
formally, training people in studios, and I'm getting ready to launch at home fitness, at home training. I've been putting together a studio at my house in the garage, trying to make it look nice, trying to get all the essentials down, ready, and ready to start. I'm going to launch More Strength, More Balance LLC January 2nd.
Fantastic. That's great, man. And you were ready to answer that too. I like that, Jeff. Fantastic. Yeah, I see no reason why not to do it. It's an excellent venture. It seems like that's the direction you've been going in for a little while, and I appreciate your journey. If you don't mind me asking, would you mind explaining your journey from where you
Sure.
were several
Well,
years back?
yeah, it's been a long road through. My alcoholism was a main factor in having me have to choose a direction in my life because I felt like kind of stuck, and I felt like I had resorted to uh, not reaching any goals. And I said, well, this is what it's going to be. I was like divorced within 4 or 5 years. Got married right out of the Navy, joined the Navy. You know, 5 years in the Navy, got out, got married, started a family, had a young son right away, and then my drinking just kind of went off the deep end. And I spent several attempts getting sober, and thank God I had the VA to have some facilities available to me. I went to several different facilities, 6 months, 1 year, year and a half, and would go back for about 10 years. I tried this. Most of my 30s was trying to get sober.
Wow, man.
And yeah, I always had the outlet of weightlifting, exercise, as far as in my recovery phases. And now it's just something I have stuck with for over 6 years. I've been sober over 6 years now. And it took me even the first half of that to realize that now I have something to give. Like I have pretty self-destructive, low self-esteem naturally that I had to get through and discover and believe that I had value to not just of myself but for others. And the last couple of years training people in those studios have been just eye-opening because I see now close hand and hear their words that they really value what I have to offer. And I was just finally absorbing it and believing that I can go as far as I want with it and just help. I just want to help as many people as I can.
Isn't it amazing how many people just need a little bit of encouragement?
Yeah, over and over and over and over.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, man. There's so little appreciation out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, I appreciate you goes so long, and people don't realize how much they need it. Some people don't even realize how much they need it.
Right. Some people don't reach out enough to just open themselves up to receive it. And so people don't know that they're maybe in desperate need of it.
Yeah,
But sometimes when you open up a little bit, people will let you know, "Hey, yeah, we've been thinking about you. We do love you. We want the best for you. How
yeah,
can we help you?"
yeah,
And you're like, "You want to help me? I mean, that's amazing."
yeah. And it's a short life, and we're more connected than we realize. We really
Yeah.
are, and everything hinges on our ability to work with each other.
Yes.
Because so much falls apart when we try to. I guess certain journeys were meant to be done alone, and I guess there are, but there's so many things that were not meant to be done alone, and people don't realize the value of having someone around you,
Yeah. I don't think
or
anybody that's gotten anywhere has done it alone.
yeah, right, exactly. I agree. I say I do it alone, but I couldn't do it without the support of my family. Just them being quiet right now is a huge perk because
Ah,
uh,
yes. The
it,
special request for the podcast.
just
Guys, just
just
a little bit of
just
time,
relax.
fraction of the
Yeah, just
day.
1 hour. All I'm asking is an hour. If you can hold it together, especially at the beginning. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you how many times I had to start
You had, to,
over.
you had to promise them something in return,
Oh
probably.
yeah, I will bribe you. I will bribe you so fast. I find it's the best strategy with kids, the bribe. Because if you think about it, we bribe everybody's bribed in one way or another.
Yeah, what's in it for me?
Yeah,
What's in it
yeah,
for me?
yeah, right, yeah. So
Yeah.
now it's a method of here's the give and take. Where is the equilibrium, and then there's a value in what you're doing, and there's a value in what you're offering, and you put a value on yourself. I ain't doing it for less than $1, or I'm not doing it. What I mean, unless other people have to do it too. There's all kinds of factors involved in it, and yeah, I'm learning more.
Fairness. Yeah.
Well, see, that's a tough one, right? You can't argue fair. Once you get down
You
to
want to
the like
keep
nuances
fair.
of it, once it's fair enough, you can't really argue fair anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because no one's. But then life ain't fair.
No.
Yeah, so it's a wild conundrum that you try to
Well,
dance with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know.
but more and more, besides getting more involved with training people to become stronger and feel the benefits from that, part of the journey is working on myself every day by continuing to educate myself. I think I mentioned really quick to you over messaging that I had started expanding my knowledge in corrective exercises, as well as even virtual coaching, some tricks and specialties involved in that, so I can reach out to a broader audience, whatever's possible
No,
to
I don't think
bring
you
the
said anything
services
about that to
online.
me. Go ahead
Yeah,
and
okay.
elaborate that a little bit for me.
Okay. So it's just part of being a personal. I got my certification through NASM, uh, and it's coming up on 2 years where I have to recertify. There's a couple different things you can do. You can take a totally different course and recertify the old course along with the new course, and then you've got both certifications. And so I'm doing that with a personal training and corrective exercise specialist. And I
That's
threw in
great.
on top of that, they have something that they've just developed since coronavirus, the last couple of years, virtual coaching. And I think I can take that anywhere, but I'd like to see what I can do, what's possible to reach people, bring them some stability, bring them some balance in their life with regular exercise and strength training in their home.
Yeah, you can't beat that because especially if you can do it on like an on-demand scenario, like a YouTube
Mm.
video or something, you can't beat that because that way your customers come to you on an on-demand basis, and that really would amplify their ability to work with you. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. How long you said since COVID?
Say again.
So that's about 2 years since COVID. They've been doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, the virtual coaching I just saw pop up. I don't think this course was available the last when I got certified as a personal trainer two years ago.
Oh wow.
I don't
Okay,
think it
so it's
was
even
even
newer.
on their curriculum. Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, it has popped up. It's uh they're just, I'm working on I'm gonna do everything I can to have the the visuals and the communication top notch.
Yeah,
Whatever's the possible to do, I'm going to do it the best I can, and I'm learning every day. Learning every day, of course.
of course. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. So, what got you started, Jeff? What was the thing that got you? I want to do this for a living. This is what I want to be a part of. This is how I'm going to do it. And then what got you started with the TikToks?
Sure. Well, you got to do some soul searching. If you're not escaping with alcohol or drugs, you've got more time to think, and unless your brain's going to run wild, you got to start focusing it in certain directions. So, I started, reading books on just positive self development and figuring out your purpose. And I was like, well, what have I always done? And I started lifting weights when I was 14. I started running on my own as a teenager, and I realized why did I run? I run because it made me feel good. It
Yeah.
made me feel good. And now at 44, I've got great hormone levels still. I have a great, just I sleep good and my energy's good all day. And I don't eat super great. I'm not a fanatic about my nutrition. I need to dial that in more. That's something is a work in progress. But I realize how much benefit comes from uh, the quality of effort in a regular. You can do 20, 30 minutes of intense, focused exercise, just like maybe reading for that day, 20, 30 minutes, focused reading, undisturbed, good for your brain. That exercise is good for your body. It's good for your hormone levels. It's good for your immune system. It's good for your digestion. It's good for avoiding diabetes. It's good for your arthritis. It's good for you.
Yeah, we were
So I
designed.
want to share that.
We were definitely designed for the struggle of being able
We were
to.
designed to move.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I,
Sitting
and
is
I
sitting is
know,
terrible.
like, I believe in more than anything, like, deepest than I've ever believed before, is that what I'm doing now will keep me moving. I won't be hunched over when I'm 90. I'm going to be standing up tall. I'm going to be getting out of the chair, maybe a little slower. But the thing is, I want to do the most as I age as is humanly possible with my body.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to be in the least pain. I know that my joints hurt less when I use them
isn't
to
it
to
crazy?
right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy, right?
it hurt less.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I'll be honest with you. I've been on a similar journey. I do respect what you're doing. I talked to a trainer not too long ago, and we were talking about the same stuff. And he said, don't worry about being 44 because I'm 44 too.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah, right. He was saying most of the guys he talks with, most of the guys he works with that are really into the personal trainer stuff, they're in their 60s
uh-huh.
with every intention of being 100.
Yep.
And it's not far fetched anymore.
Nope.
100 is so that means we're not even halfway done, Jeff. We're not even halfway done.
No, just getting started.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the joints got to stay. I don't feel like replacing them. I've got to keep my hormones good because I don't want to be eating too many pills. I really need to
Nope.
be on point. I want my mind right. I want my body right. So I'm with you.
I want my perspective right, because you getting up in a grumpy mood, and you can say grumpy for a certain all half the day or all day or something like that. I can just knock that out with a good workout. And then I'm like, well, what changed in my life? Nothing changed except for that workout.
And that perspective, just like you said, that was the beginning.
And then the
Yeah.
perspective that followed.
And it's
Yeah.
amazing, man. It's amazing. And if you can recalculate and recalibrate, it's a game changer. And I feel like running is one of my favorite tools for doing that too.
Nice.
Something I never did my entire life. I remember being like 12 or 13, and a friend of mine, a good friend of mine that's been on my podcast twice already, would run, and he's like, let's just run through the pain, the rib pain. He's like, let's just run through it.
There you go.
And I was like, nah, I'm too lazy. And I gave up. And I was fast. I was pretty quick. So I regret that one. That was a big mistake. I picked it up again at 42? I think I picked it up again at 42. Okay. It took me like 30 years to come in full circle.
You can, it's never too late. When I start training people that are 50, 60, even 70s, and they're like, finally, I want to get stronger, they can reach their potential that they've always had. Maybe it'll take a little bit longer, a little bit more consistency, but they can still be the strongest 70-year-old that they were meant to be.
Isn't that wild?
As soon as they start implementing.
Yeah, isn't that wild? It's amazing how sometimes time can be, I don't want to say manipulated or warped, but you can get time back to a certain degree. You could change the time in a metaphorical way, I guess you could say. Very cool.
Yeah, man. I even been working on my hair loss. I tried the old minoxidil over a year ago, and that stuff works good too.
Really, I've never even heard of that. But say it again.
I was thinning out.
Yeah, I'm pretty rough.
That's the scalp. And I just did a little research. I said, hey, let's give it a shot. This stuff's not supposed to work for at least 4 months. 4 months, hardly. I didn't see nothing. 9 months, I'm like, maybe. Now, a year later, I've never given up on that. If it works till I'm 60, or maybe it only works for another 5 years, that's fine. I'll take what I can get. Yeah. But these are just it's the consistency that I see is relative in a lot of things. Even in business and finance and investing, you don't want to give up too early.
Yeah.
You want.
I don't know if you ever heard of this book. It was I think it was called 3 Feet to Gold, and I read a book that referenced this book. The story goes, this guy had a gold mine in California in like the late 1800s. He knew there was gold there. He dug for months, poured tons of money in, got real nice equipment. Couldn't catch a break. He got a little bit of gold, but it wasn't enough to sustain him. So he basically said, I'm going to go bankrupt. I'm just going to scrap all the equipment I got, and I'm just going to sell this mine. A guy comes in, like a guy like us, like a 40-year-old guy, says, I'll buy it off you for... He sells it. First day, 3 feet, strikes millions of gold. The guy was 3 feet from gold. So he wrote a book. He became a millionaire. He said, I will never give up and be 3 feet from gold ever again. Wrote a book about, and it was called 3 Feet from Gold.
The guy who sold his stuff wrote the book.
Yeah, the one that lost the millions by selling the mine. But it's a wild story, and how often do we cut ourselves short and miss the glory, miss the opportunity?
Because it gets tough.
It does get tough.
You might be at your end. Your end is like where you have to.
Where you think your end is.
Right, your personal end, but that doesn't mean you can't make it with you just. Find a higher power, you find your friends, you realize your family really is there, wherever it has to come from.
Yeah. Or just be stubborn and just never give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah,
just pump some iron.
There you go. Pump some iron. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I bet you if the guy would have went for a run, or if he would have lifted weights for like 2 hours, came back, 3 more feet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame. It's a wild story, but we wouldn't have got the book, so maybe it was meant to be.
That's right. He made the sacrifice.
Yeah.
For us to get that perspective.
That's so frustrating to even imagine. You have to walk by that mine ever again, or drive by that mine. It would blow my mind forever. Yeah.
I wouldn't go by it.
Yeah, right. Divert your whole life. I'm never driving by there again. So what are you doing right now? You were talking about the LLC, and you're going to get into a more
I'm putting something suitable together at the house
Okay.
with um, all the equipment that you would need to get a full training session in, barbell training, dumbbell training, kettlebell training, um, some cardio equipment, and yeah, I'm going to be doing some one-on-one. I'll see. The idea is to just promote locally, find out who's in your neighborhood, put some flyers out there in the mailboxes, and see if there's people around close by who want to make it convenient to come see you.
Yeah.
I'll think about my premium price, but I'll go for promotional offers, build some clientele. But at the same time, I do want to figure out what's also possible online. I want to build the studio to be suitable for presentation online and see what happens there too.
Shouldn't be hard to make it conducive for both. That
Yeah,
shouldn't be an issue.
it should
Yeah.
go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think it would be easy. It's a great strategy too. I don't see any neighborhood not needing at least 20%. I would say
Yeah,
need to go to the gym, want to go to the gym, if
yeah,
not more.
and we're selling results, and
Yeah,
I can work. I'm not a nutritionist. The only thing I can't do is plan out your meals for you, but we can talk about it. I'll talk all day about what works for me and how I can eat huge. I have huge calorie intakes throughout the day and maintain a certain amount of leanness from my quality of effort during my exercise routine. The certain amount of intensity that I put down will stimulate my metabolism, and the amount of just putting on a little bit of muscle, putting on the amount of muscle you're meant to have, will promote your metabolism to work its magic for you
yeah. Oh
sometimes
yeah, it's
without
amazing.
even cardio. If you hate cardio, sometimes you put on a little muscle and you'll drop fat.
Well, there's all types of cardio. You don't have to run. You could do a spin bike. Yeah, there's
No.
all kinds of there's all kinds of ways to get that heart rate up.
Yeah, I did little jump roping intervals today,
I saw
three
that. Yeah.
minutes. Did some. I was doing some pull-ups, and then I was doing some bent over rows, and I'd go hit a set, hit 3 minutes of the jump rope, hit another set, 3 minutes, and that's just a workout.
Yeah. Yeah, I only have like an hour, hour and a half every day. My life is so busy. The schedule is so busy that I don't have time outside of early in the morning. So I try to crunch it all in that hour and a half, and it matters. It really makes a difference.
Well, Regan, you can do a lot in an hour and a half.
Oh, I agree. I do everything I can,
Yeah,
and I think I've maximized it to the point where I don't think I can add anything else. Do you know what
don't
I
add
mean?
anything else
I don't think I can. I don't think I tried.
because half of it is recovery too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree.
Good
But
sleep, good like protein, carbohydrates,
yeah.
the whole shebang.
Yeah, I do notice that if I don't get at least 6 hours sleep, 5.5, 6 hours, I have to struggle through the next day. Not that I don't do it, not that I can't do it, but I need that 5.5, 6 hours. I really do.
Well, you mentioned family, so I can imagine you don't have as much control over your schedule as you could have.
Yeah. Well, um,
My
I ha-
kids are old.
oh,
My
are
kid
they?
is old. My
Well,
child, I have one son, and he's already 20.
okay. Mine.
So,
Yeah, I've got 6 kids, man, and they range
oh,
from 19 to 6.
okay.
So yeah, it's nonstop. My son
Yeah,
just
that's full
decided.
house.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So my son just decided to put his name on the front of the house in mud. So we're gonna be cleaning the house tomorrow with a
Right on the
sponge
house?
on the house, man.
On the house.
Yeah, I came back from the store and I'm like, I didn't want to get mad because I know it wasn't like a malicious attempt to like drive me nuts with my full schedule, but I'm like, man, all right, I'm gonna put a smile on my face. We'll deal with it tomorrow because you
That's
obviously
right.
need a bath. Yeah,
It's not gonna look bad. Who cares what the neighbors
I don't
think
care.
about
I don't
something
care.
like
Yeah, I
that?
don't care what they
You
think.
cannot even
No,
waste a second on that.
no, because if I did that, I wouldn't do anything. But
Yeah.
uh, but it says Regan on the front of my house right now, and probably like 8 foot, an 8 foot
Mhm.
word.
Nice.
Yeah.
You really put some effort into it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That took 20 minutes. So my
Congratulations.
oldest daughter, who should have been watching him, was not watching him as well as she said she was, which is even
Happens.
more frustrating. Yeah. Ah, But yeah, with that, getting people to school, getting them back home, going to the store, getting back to work, get out of the work, I have no free time to play around with just going to the gym again. And if you try, there's always something with the house or the dog or whatever it be. There's always something. So I do it early in the morning, and that little window is all I got. So that hour or whatever, that's my time, and I have to be able to do it. So on
Yeah.
that note, I have to ask you the question: are you going to be available at any time? Is that something?
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because
No, I
that's
think it's
going to be an
actually
issue.
important. I think it's important for me to set a schedule for myself,
Okay.
availability for myself. But I mean, I'll be pretty, we'll do it. I'm doing individual consultations. I'll talk about what you need and whether it's going to work for both of us,
Oh, good point. Okay.
each person.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like East Coast, working after work, and maybe I'm coming on at like, or maybe early in the morning, they want to get like a session in at 6 on the East Coast, and that makes it 3 where I'm at in
Yeah.
California.
Yeah. That's no joke.
Uh, Maybe someone special will get that time slot. And I'll just consider it. It might be a higher rate. I don't know. I'll have to discuss it with them, see what they can afford and what I can provide that's going to match that value.
Yeah, Jeff, that sounds like a pretty cool adventure, to be honest with you, because who knows how it's going to play out. And as I go, even the podcast itself has morphed into something completely different than what I thought it was going to be.
Good. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so you don't really know. You think that it's going to be this, and all of a sudden it's something 10 times more, or 10 times
10 times
different.
more.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
no idea. Yeah, yeah, and your mind it's small compared to the reality of how it works. Do you know how the real
Yeah.
world
Totally.
works? Yeah.
Totally.
So I'm excited to see how this plays out for you, man. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing adventure.
Me too. I'm sure it is. And I've really never ventured out this far. I've kept my world small for a long time.
Big mistake, and you know
Uh,
what? Now that
yeah.
mistake is being corrected. Same with me. Same with me. I wish I would have done something like this years ago. Uh, a friend suggested that I do some radio stuff, and I never did. I was more worried about feeding my family at the time, and I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake. Who knows?
No, it's not a mistake. You're succeeding now.
Yeah, yeah. But just where would you be if you had 6 more years under your belt? And it's something that's always been a passion to talk to people and stuff. So I know now that I gotta hustle even more. I
Okay.
can't let it. You know what I mean? I can't hold back. And
I feel that.
yeah. So I want to be the number
I
one
feel the
creator.
hustle.
Yeah, you just gotta push it and push it. And I find that when I'm willing to give up, that's when I run a little bit more. When it's time to quit, I got to put 10 more minutes in, and I find that it gets so much easier. It's kind of one of those things where I constantly now don't look for the comfort zone. I look for something a little uncomfortable every once in a while, and
Right.
I try to be happy with that. Just so I have that momentum. What is the hardest thing you ever had to overcome?
The hardest thing, definitely, my self-worth. Because I think when I was drinking, I just had accepted that the best of me was over. I served I served my country. I tried marriage. It didn't work. What do I do? So uh, let's kind of I didn't push. I didn't push. The hardest thing to overcome was was discovering my own self-worth, was believing in it, was coming to a realization
Yeah,
that's a true fact.
yeah. And you're so much more valuable than you'll ever imagine. And I don't know why we sell ourselves that lie. I don't know why
I
we
don't
do
know.
that. It blows my mind because if you think about it, there's so many people that rely on you, and why we're willing to push that to the side to let that lie in, I don't know why. But
I
once it
guess it's easier to an extent, or from a warped perspective, it's easier to do that than convince yourself of something that's already true, but you have to work on that realization until it becomes real,
yeah, yeah,
and it takes work.
it takes work. And
And then you're like, oh man, there's so much more work to do. But
yeah,
now
yeah,
you're
yeah.
excited about it.
And now you don't have no time. You went from
Now
playing
you don't
video
have no
games
time.
and drinking and having all kinds of time on you, and then all of a
Dude, I
sudden
put
you,
yeah, put everything on the calendar. I'm like, whoa,
I don't have time
I
for any
gotta
of this.
limit
Yeah,
myself on everything because I don't have enough hours.
yeah, it's amazing. But you know what? I think that could be done too. I heard someone talking, and I think it was today too. I think it was something I listened to today, where the guy was like, when the next time you have a task, try to see if you could do it in half the time.
Okay.
Like literally sit down and put a few minutes in on trying to say, okay, I normally can do this in 8 hours. How can I physically do this in 4?
Okay.
And just
Mm-hmm.
let your brain think outside the box. And he said this is how high intensity people like Jeff Bezos and stuff can turn 24 hours into the money he does. And it's not the money issue that I'm trying to focus on, but I'm just trying to focus on, like you said, I do this schedule every day, and I'm afraid to go to a week long or a month long schedule because I can barely accomplish and win on just a daily one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's just there's only so much time. I got to play a new game where I can condense it now.
Well, if you can figure out, if you can realize how many distractions you might have that you're not paying attention to, and the notifications and everything, depending on where they're coming from, and limit those, and you might realize, oh,
Hey,
that's been eating up half my time.
and 20%, and then you fix it and you correct it, and you get another 20%, and you correct it and fix it. Before you know, you doubled something.
Yeah.
Something that used to take 8 hours can take 4. Um, there is the consequence to putting so much effort in. I do have a family, I do have a job, and you want friends and all those things. And I find that if I sacrifice too much, maybe I'll win the grand prize and have it all to myself with no one to share it with. So I have to worry about doing that too. I don't want to put myself in that position unnecessarily.
No, yeah.
So
Balance.
some of my distractions are my most valuable, like the mud drawing of my name on the wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
it may sound frustrating, but
But then you have the practice of, do I worry about that right now?
no,
How much thought do I put
I'll
in?
do it
Yeah. How
tomorrow.
much
I'll do it
energy?
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it
And
tomorrow.
check it for tomorrow.
Yeah, because I could have affected this moment today, and I
Right.
promised you that we would do this. There was no way we weren't doing this
And there's mud on your house right now.
right now. There's even a pile of mud where the mud making catastrophe started on the driveway.
Yeah, because he had to acquire the mud.
Oh, he had to acquire the mud, and he had to mix the mud. It was like a 3-stage process. That I think he ruined the Nike Airs. He's got some real nice Air
He wore his
Maxes.
best shoes for
Ah,
it, of course.
well, because he was in the front yard, and I'm sure his sister thought he was just riding his bike.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's
I'm
what he
safe.
normally does. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in the front yard.
yeah, he's in the front yard.
Perfectly harmless front
Ah,
yard.
and I was only gone for 20 minutes. We went to the store to get, I think, chicken and rice and a couple other things. We didn't get much. 20 minutes?
Hmm.
20 minutes. When I left, he was fine. I actually circled back to tell him and his sister how much I loved them. Because I had a feeling they were going to do something stupid, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was going to be climb the tree and put clothes up there or something. I don't know. Um, wonderful distractions. Wonderful
Was that the
distractions.
6-year-old?
Well, the next one next to him, which is his cohort that convinces him to do dumb things, she's 8.
Ah, okay.
So they're two
They
peas in a
teamed
pod.
up.
Oh yeah, they team
Okay.
up. She's the brain. It's like Pinky the brain. She's the
You're like,
brains. He's the
hey,
muscle.
just mix it and let's draw our name.
Well,
Ready?
There was a Barbie boat involved, and what else did I see? I don't know. There was a spray bottle that I just threw away because it was just an extra bottle. But that stuff, that's the daily distraction. But again, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that. You know how blessed I am to have that. I'm so lucky, man. And I realize how lucky I am to the point where sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I put enough time in. I don't know if I'm paying attention enough. Maybe I should have read a little bit more before bed. Maybe I should have sat there and listened to that stupid story about school. Or maybe
I
I
think
should
those
just,
are okay. I think
yeah.
those thoughts are the right ones.
They are, man. I know they are.
Yeah.
It's easy to neglect how lucky you are. Do you know what I mean? Or
Oh
forget
yeah.
or and I don't want to be that person. I have the chance not to be that person. I don't want to. I don't want to lose it. I don't. So I was doing like 7 podcasts a day, and I realized I was pushing the whole family to the side. And or no, it was 10 a week. I was doing 10 a week, and when you consider all the editing, it's a daunting second job. So I narrowed down to 2 a week, and that allows me to have the hobby and have that opportunity to do something I love without truly interfering with family life. We're going to jump back in. I'm trying to think.
Well, I like not talking about me. That's fine.
Oh, okay, okay.
We're having a
Well,
conversation.
yeah, we're having a conversation, and that's number one. But I've
I plugged my stuff right away in the beginning. So
yeah, you did it. I loved it, and it
they're
sounded.
gonna go online. They're
Yeah.
gonna send me a message. They're gonna say, "What this is what I need to solve my pain problem. You know, my pain in life needs a solution, and
And Jeff has the answer.
What it's all about."
Yeah, man. And I'll be honest with you. I definitely want you to plug it again before we leave, because I think the personal training, the strength training, all that stuff. I think it's one of the most valuable things humanly possible, man.
It's like preventive care. It's like preventive care.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Really?
So one of the things I said to one guy one time was, I think we were debating or arguing or just it was about Zuckerberg and the things he. The point ended up being that he was doing some MMA stuff, right? And he was doing some personal training, and he was actually building his inner person a little bit more. And I said, it's very intimate to be working with someone close like that. And who knows if that person whispers in his ear and changes his whole perspective when he's exhausted after rolling around on the mats for 3 hours, where he can have a completely different perspective on whatever it was at the time. Maybe it was a free speech issue or something. I don't remember what we were talking about. But there's a very high level of intimacy when you're one-to-one with someone and you break them down to the point where they're exhausted. It's almost like you've got a battery inside of you, and it needs to be drained every once in a while. And,
reset. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Reset's a good word too. That's a
filter,
good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you could completely change your philosophy is probably a big word for it, but there's parts of you that need to be fine-tuned. And that never truly changes. There's always something slightly in error.
Oh, all forever.
Forever. You'll never perfect it, right? And when you're in those moments, you have a chance to tweak them a little bit. And who knows? You just don't know who you're changing and how much you're changing them. Because sometimes that dial goes dink, and an avalanche of potential comes out that no one even knew existed. So you guys are on the front lines of changing the world, really, if you think about it. We've got this instant gratification society of I'm going to sit on my ass and just relax, and hopefully the whole world changes, and it doesn't change. It just keeps moving with or without you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that self-realization, I don't think you can truly get that without that exercise or that training or that running or lifting or
the breakdown.
The breakdown.
You're right. I mean, I think I got a taste of it in the military when I first went to boot camp, because I was certainly I had started, like I mentioned, started lifting in my teens, but then I started smoking that reefer in high school, and definitely wasn't lifting weights as much when I'm smoking that reefer, because it's like, just chill, man. Let's just chill. But the thing is, so I get to boot camp and it's off the table, and they're breaking us down at 4 a.m. first thing, and we're crying. We're 18-year-olds in in another cold state, and we're in Chicago is where we were.
Yeah, that's cold. I've been to Chicago. That's no joke.
Great Lakes in January.
No.
And
they did that on purpose.
We got broke down. We got broke down early. I think it made a big impact on me, even though it might not have taken effect right away. It's definitely something that was impactful and something I can see has helped me in my development as an adult that I realize isn't available to so many other people that hasn't gone through the same thing. They're just I wanted them to have, some kind of structure was unveiled
Yeah.
as my yeah. I just
Isn't it wild that the little things matter more than the big things?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how you're making your bed, keeping your shoes clean, running a couple miles, doing what you're
Yeah.
told. Those things
Yeah.
matter so much. They seem so trivial.
Yeah.
But
And I
they,
don't like keep my shoes spotless nowadays. I was never that person. Uh, you know. And if I live with other people, you go through like well, they don't keep the bathroom as clean as I'd like to. And what are you going to do? You're either going to clean it yourself for everybody, or you're going to have a certain level of acceptance that's not going to drive yourself crazy. And so there's all kinds of just life lessons all around us all the time
all the time.
that I've just even being getting into the 40s was finally something started to getting sober, getting off marijuana. I did probably carry on that habit after I stopped drinking for a little while. So that
And
was kind of like maintenance.
yeah, and weed isn't this horrible drug, but it makes you lazy
It makes you content,
and complacent, and it just
complacent is the word. Yeah,
yeah,
it makes you complacent. Like I got things just enough covered that I can make do, and
which
you
is
don't
the
strive for anything more
yeah. And
when
that's
there's
shit.
so much more.
There's so much more, and there's
So
so
much
much
more.
more satisfaction in so much more.
There is.
Oh yeah, yeah, because yeah, there's you play video games and they end, and then there's nothing left.
Uh,
Yeah, there's so many things you do that
the
have
screen
no.
goes dark, and you're like, well, I guess that wasn't.
That
That's
was
it.
a waste of $60 and 2,000 hours of playing online, and it's just gone. It's gone. That time can't be recovered. You can't.
I
You
I
can't.
fear for the still 20s, the guys in their 20s, and some of the girls that are still plugging along overnight on video games with. I mean, that's just barely tapping a social aspect of life and
Yeah.
not much more.
And there's a huge failure to launch, which also has a huge consequence.
Yeah.
Because
There's a lot of parents that just want their kids out of the house so bad that they help pay their rent for 10 more
so they can
years
play video games in their
so
apartment
they can play
instead of your
video games
house.
in
Yeah,
their place.
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of your place, and that's a shame, man. That's a terrible. Oof, because that's not going to be good for society later, man. And they're saying right now, and I said this, I think to the last, was it the last guy? I think it was the last guy. I think J.P. Morgan and another big institution that predicts the future, right? They go to the stock market for hedge funds and stuff, and they don't look at 1 week or 1 day. They look at trends they believe will be a fact 10 years from now.
Right.
They do the long-term stuff. They're looking for the big money, the what pays out 8% over the long haul
Well,
every
yeah. Yeah,
and they were
1,000%.
yeah, exactly, yeah, because of compounds. So one of the things they were saying was they're so positive that the females right now between the ages of 16 and 25 are going to be single, childless in their 40s. That they're already investing in cat food and wine.
Ah,
Now that's not a joke. I mean, it's funny as
no, that's not
hell.
a joke.
Really funny. It's
I
really
know it's
funny.
true.
But here's the deal, man. That means they never peer bond. In their early 20s, someone was playing video games too much, or someone was having a good time at college, and instead of peer bonding and becoming a couple and getting married, they just rambled through life. And now they got 3 cats and a bottle of wine, and that's all they got.
Right.
That's not a good place to be, man.
No.
Especially when you're predicting it. It's not like it's already happened. It's not like this is what happened. This is what's going to happen. So I do concern myself a little bit with that. I got 6 kids. I don't want to see a society where me and you have to work until we're 100. because everybody's smoking weed and playing video games or whatever it is that
Yeah.
caused them to
Well, I
fail.
mean, if we follow those trends and we're right, then we can start, even if we're a little bit late, we can start investing and maybe our compound interest will be in
Ah,
good shape
that was not
by the
even a
time we're
thought that
80.
crossed my mind. Yeah, right. Because
It's
you
not too late
can't.
for us. It's
Yeah,
not too
it's
late.
not too
I'm just
late.
starting with that too. I'm trying to
Are you okay? That's what I started with first.
get knowledgeable.
Yes, I played with the stock market a little bit when I first wanted to change my life. Did really good at the beginning because when I started, it was right when COVID hit. So the stock
Yeah.
market collapsed, and you could close your eyes and pick anything, and it was bound to
And
go
it'll
back
go back
up.
up.
So yeah. So I just got lucky because I picked a bunch of stuff and everything went back up. But I slowly found myself losing it, and I kept giving the money back and giving the money back. So I'm still up a little bit, and I've changed my strategy a little bit. I thought I
Okay.
was going to do some day trading, and I don't know if I want to do the day trading. Trying to figure out
Well,
the float from the. There's so much stuff, man. There's so much.
I mean, it might be just a good idea to put a little bit consistently in
Yeah,
to a
exactly.
moderate plan
Yeah,
and watch it go like this, and then eventually you're 1,000% ahead in
yeah.
10 years, and you're in good shape. I don't know.
The bottom line is it's another avenue for you to grow in.
Yeah, it should
So
be something that
yeah,
we're learning early, thinking about,
yeah.
not relying on these dead end careers. Even the doctors they're not so happy nowadays. They're overworked.
Well,
And
I fear what's going to happen is we're going to just import mediocre doctors.
yeah,
Yeah, because you can't go without.
no.
Yeah,
Well, you can work out and you can avoid some of the visits.
Jeff. That's a good point. I know this has come up in conversations before, and I want to hear your perspective on this. So, why isn't that said more? Like, okay, for instance, COVID, right? They're like the heavier set people with all these underlining issues are going to be the most hard hit. So what they said was everybody sit home, order in, take out, and sit on your couch.
Right.
Why? Why
Well,
wasn't it? Why wasn't it go for a run on the beach or go for a run in the trail and just stay 6 feet away from everybody and eat a little healthier and don't lick all the doorknobs and just go back home and do some workout if you can't work at your job right now. Why wasn't that said once? It wasn't said once by
no,
anybody in
I
authority
can.
at all.
No, the media is going to have that louder voice, and they're going to talk. They're going to say whatever makes pharmaceutical companies more money.
Yeah, but that's not the best strategy.
That's pretty bad.
It's a short-term strategy at best. It's not a long term strategy for even them. What good is having all your? Well, I guess it is a good thing. Okay, maybe it is a long term strategy. I don't know, but nonetheless, I think we're more connected
Well,
than
it's
we think
not
we
good.
are.
It's not good for money, but it's not good for the society. And it's not. It's like if the media would, yeah, the voices that are heard, the big masses, the ones that we're listening to. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are saying, "Hey, if you want to avoid COVID, you could probably do what you can to strengthen yourself as we go through this pandemic. Keep your lungs strong as possible. Don't sit around and go in fear of this thing that honestly um, is just it." Like I got it a few months ago last summer after a long time of being fairly cautious, wearing my mask at work, training people and stuff like that. And I got I got one booster shot, uh, 3 shots total. But I was never in fear of it because I knew where my baseline was.
Yeah, and I don't know
And
how anybody can live without knowing where their baseline is, having some confidence that I put my best foot forward, and
put your best foot forward, right?
yeah,
Bring
and
yourself up to it. Wherever it is. It's probably everybody's going to be on different levels,
yeah,
but
and
let's
it's
bring
not
yours to where it's supposed to be
yeah.
so you can give yourself the best chance.
And it helps everybody in the long run. It really does because I would far more like everybody around me to be competent and capable of we all should be self-reliant to the greatest extent possible. You know what I mean? To at least to the level where I don't need someone to do everything for me. And
I don't want that for anybody.
yeah, man, and I don't know. I don't know what the future's going to hold. I see a lot of new technology, and I have a hard time figuring out how it's going to play out because we're seeing jobs that I thought would never not exist slowly shrink down to nothing. The banks are going to be non-existent, pretty much. There'll be a headquarters in LA. There'll be a headquarters in New York, and you just take a picture of checks. ATM machines spit out money, if money even exists in like 10 years. Banks are becoming obsolete. There's so many jobs we're watching slowly just disappear completely.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that future is going to hold out because we can't all be home smoking weed playing video games.
I just don't get any value out of it anymore, man.
No, I don't either. I don't think I'll ever go back. That's another thing I noticed. When you change your life a little, there's no going back.
No, you don't. Certainly don't want that.
No.
You're too aware the next day when you wake up of the
I was
waste.
just going to say, you have to give up too much of your soul to go
Yeah.
back. You have to give up too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did a math equation, and the gym's a little expensive, so I started playing the game. What happens if I don't renew my membership in March?
Yeah.
What happens? I was like, okay,
Yeah. Let's play the game.
can I break this down to running in the dirt trail down the street, a mile down the road? Yeah, I can. 4 o'clock in the
Good.
morning, there ain't no one out there. It's a little weird, but I'm not gonna be.
Nice.
But I won't be bothering nobody.
Not illegal.
Yeah, I'm not breaking the law. It's wide open. It's just a public park. It's just a public park, and it's a dirt trail, so it won't beat up my knees too much. I like to do crunches and sit-ups, and I like to do them on an incline, and I like to lift a little weights. Is there any way I could do that in my backyard, or is there any way I can do like push-ups and chin-ups? And I'm like, this park, I bet you I can do all that there. There, you know, what I mean, it looks like I'm going to be able to. So I'm like, man, I could save myself. I think it's like $650+ a year.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to play a math equation. Because I don't know about you, but my biggest expense now is not my mortgage. It's freaking food, man. I spend more money on food than I do my mortgage now, and that's not even a game. That's for real. I spend more money on food. Yeah. And it's wild. I didn't see that coming. Well, I kind of did. When they started giving out those free checks, I think I told my sister, I was like, everything's going to double in price. But I don't know if I really believed it when I heard it, when I said it myself, because now I'm shell-shocked. Eggs were 75 cents a carton. Here in Texas, I was paying 75 cents a carton. That same exact carton is $3.25.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
Still there, though. There's no talk of any food shortage. We're just talking inflation. Everything's more expensive, but we're still eating lobster and feeding.
Oh, yeah. As long as you're willing to drop the, as long as you drop. And Texas has been pretty good. The meat hasn't gone up too much. I would say it went up like 20-30%, whereas other things went up 100%. Just depends on what it was. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if that also applies to the supply chain in some way. I don't know.
Well, there was like head of lettuce was missing from grocery stores for a while, and then we were having a little head of lettuce shortage, and then you go in and be $5 because they weren't sure when it was going to come again, so they charge you whatever they could, and now you look sometimes it's $1.20, and you're like, oh, okay, that's more normal. I'll get a couple heads of lettuce. So honestly, I'm almost shopping like. I'm still a budget conscious kind of person.
What is on sale right now? What do they have too much of right now? I do the same thing, and no one likes blueberries. We're getting blueberries anyways because they're 70 cents a canister. We're grabbing a couple boxes of these things right now. You're gonna find a way to eat those things because
blueberries are good for you.
Yeah, you can't beat 70 cents for, and we're talking like a half a pound. Those big plastic containers. We had the same problem you were saying with head of lettuce. We had the same problem with avocados. For some reason, there was some kind of big problem over in Mexico, and avocados were like nearly non-existent. The ones we had were rock hard, and I'm like, they're going to have to sit in my fridge for 2 weeks? No, that's not happening. I'm not buying these right now.
But then they came back.
And they came back. Well, actually, what I started doing was just buying more bananas because bananas got a little cheap there for a while. I think it was like 40 cents a pound or something like that. So a bushel was like buck 50 at the most. Yeah. So you got to work around things, but nonetheless, even working around and then really pushing the peanut butter and jellies and pushing the bananas, still my biggest expense is food, man.
Yeah, you got to find out what you're like. For me, it's been becoming. I have to create the habit of preparing my meals at home,
Yeah.
as opposed to looking for the convenience outside the house. And then I have to figure out in my picky palate uh, what I'm going to spend time consistently and portion the correct portions and not just make the whole box and eat the whole box of whatever it is
Yes.
pasta,
Yes.
and because I know I'm not going to split it and put half of it away. I know me, so I have to buy the smaller boxes. And am I going to boil this, and am I going to add some sauce? Will I do, is that a whole food enough for me? The tomatoes. Yeah, and when I figure those things out, I stick with those habits that are,
Yeah.
basic whole foods. Chicken is, the chicken I like. I don't buy the chicken breast because I know I'm looking at it in the freezer. I'm like, I gotta thaw that thing. So I buy chicken tenders, unseasoned. I put some Dano's lower sodium. That stuff is like really good, and it's half the sodium of a lot of other seasonings out there.
Yeah.
And you thaw and you put some Dano's on, you put it in the oven, and it's like ready to go.
Ready to go.
So you just figure out your habits there as far as preparing and buying food. And that's another, that's something I definitely want to talk to people about as far as developing habits when I'm kind of a realistic nutritionist, not so much like, well, you have to have spinach in your
Yeah.
egg
No. No.
whites.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna eat that.
Yeah, everybody's so dynamically different that you go out there and throw out a pyramid or something, and it's not going to work for everybody.
No,
It just won't.
here's your
And
chart.
and
No,
now that's one more thing that helps them give an excuse to give up.
yeah, you're like, well, it's too hard.
That's another
I
thing I
can't do it
noticed.
perfect. Yeah,
Everybody loves an excuse to fail or an excuse to give up or an excuse to blame somebody else. And
the
I
laundry.
find oh yes, and that's one of my big bugaboos. I tried my hardest to not give myself an excuse. And if I do, then it means I need to do something else. I'm not doing enough because
Yeah,
I'm too far in my head, and I don't want that excuse. I don't want an excuse. There is no excuse.
yeah.
Strong man knows his weakness and avoids it.
I knew that just a little bit of rain, more rain, will tempt me from not going to the gym. So, like you, I was like, what am I going to be able to do at home? And I started putting some equipment together, and I said, I'm just going to make it. I'm just going to make it happen because if I put a nice gym floor down, I put some rubber flooring down,
Yeah.
uh, made it appear as if I'm have the convenience of the gym at home. And now I've been the most consistent. I only moved to Sacramento about a month ago.
Okay.
I was in Oregon, got out of there before the winter hit. I came down because I'm from Northern California, and I came down here to make home and start my business. And
I
I
hear
knew
Sacramento's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
The weather's better, and maybe some people, maybe there are hookers at Walmart down the street, but that's just the reality. That's reality, and they're not like that in the Walmart in Oregon. And that's fine. That's the difference. But the weather's nice, and there's plenty of nice people. People say, "Oh, they're much nicer in Oregon." No, there's plenty of nice people everywhere you go,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of assholes everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go.
And it's who are you looking for? Who are you trying to make time with and make conversations with?
There you go.
Yeah,
Jeff, you just made me think of something.
good.
You're working on making that gym in your house the best you can.
Yeah,
When you're done and you're satisfied, have you considered not being a consultant, but kind of like a subcontractor, like a guy that would go in the backyard and do the stone work and put a fireplace in the backyard, or a guy that would remodel bathrooms?
Oh,
What if you were a consultant that remodeled someone's
yep,
small room above the garage? And then,
yep, absolutely.
can you imagine how much
Yeah,
money you can make doing that?
yeah. I would add that to my
Yeah, that's
yeah
a
services.
great side hustle on this whole Because
The
now,
whole thing.
yeah. And you say, if you have me do this as your consultant, I will train you for a year or whatever, and you build
Perfect.
that right into the price. So if it's 10
Yeah.
grand for me to design your gym above your garage, I add another $1,400 for 1 year's training from me, whether it be YouTube or a personal Zoom, or I come in person because we only live down the street from each other. You got a whole nother avenue of revenue right there.
Oh yeah.
It's a great one.
And I can refer them as to where to buy their equipment for the best quality and prices and get an affiliate commission, get a
There.
referral.
Well, actually, the ultimate scenario is you'd buy it yourself and you'd mark it up 10%.
Oh, right. They'll have the whole package,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
kit.
yeah. You say this is what
Yeah.
I like. This is what I have. This is my
And
gold member,
here's
and
what I
this and
can bring
I
you.
you don't have to think about
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I've got the space. Here's a
Exactly.
little schematic of what I'm going to do. Do you like the idea? Here's the price, and you just go buy everything. Obviously, they would pay for everything, but you mark it
Yeah.
up 10%, and you now have a connection with a gym supply company that only deals with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got them down the street. I know exactly who I'm going to go to.
that's
They
great,
got a
man.
warehouse full right now.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This sounds like a fantastic idea because now you just open up the door for so many more people. Because how many people pay a fat tax? They pay their membership to Gold's Gym and then never go.
Yeah.
It's a fat tax.
Yeah.
I,
They're
I, I'm,
like,
I'm,
just in case I feel like it, I
uh,
want it to be there once a month or once every 6 months.
how many people in Sacramento would pay 10, 12, 15, $20,000 for you to remodel that room to do that?
Yeah, they might because I mean it's real. It's
It's
a
real.
realistic. Like, look, if you can't get any more convenient, if you really want availability of your to implement this as a lifestyle, you
Put it in your
then
house. Put
put
your
in your
money. Put
house.
your mouth where your money is. Let's do it. Let's do it in your spare room.
Yeah, I really like the way mine's come together. Especially I got that.
Ah,
I got some nice flooring down. It fit perfectly.
perfect.
I got to just. I'm ready to do nothing but add to it.
That's
Like
cool.
more
That's super cool.
yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
heavier dumbbells, a little bit heavier kettlebells.
yeah.
We get some strength training going on.
I like it, man. Yeah, I saw you. I saw you doing your benching your weight 195. I don't think I've ever benched that much before.
Oh, cool.
How many can you do now?
I did 3 the other day, so
Uh,
I'm sure there's room for more.
okay. So
And it's interesting.
yeah,
I
yeah.
put
It's,
something out there like that. That's just a challenge.
I like
Mostly when
it.
I post stuff, I'm looking for engagement. I
Yeah.
want people to disagree with me. I want them to like that. It's hard to get
Or tell
engagement.
their journey of how they did it.
Tell me about
Ah,
your
ah.
personal, yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so you are the same age as me, and it sounds like you're about the same weight as me. How tall are you?
5'9".
5'9". Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I'm 6 feet tall.
Ah,
You look
I'm a little.
fantastic for 5'9". I was expecting you to say 6'1".
Oh, I'm a little heavy in the midsection. I do carry those snacks around with me sometimes.
I
So
still
I've
do
got
a little too,
I've
man.
been I still kind of I still fluctuate
Okay. How
20
much?
pounds a year.
20 pounds from
Yeah,
one end to the
between
other.
175 would be like the light end.
Okay, which makes sense. Okay.
195 would be like the heavy, but even at 195, I don't think my chin's not sticking out too much, but I can lean up a little bit more. And it's funny because you get more lean and maybe people think you're more uh, knowledgeable just by your appearance
Really? I don't
about
know.
what you say. That's just what I observe on social media.
Okay, okay.
But the fact is I'm not promoting lean. I mean, if you want to get lean, I can tell you how to get lean. But mostly I want you to be strong to feel what strong brings you in your life. To feel
It's
the
fantastic.
benefits of just that energy and that perspective of like, hey, I can do anything with my life that I want. I can make anything happen. I picked up from Oregon and moved to Sacramento with nothing lined up, just what I could carry.
That's awesome, Jeff.
And
Awesome.
and I I settled down here like an old frontier settler, man. and just planted myself and said, this is where it's going to be. This is where I'm going to make stuff happen, and started making it happen.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. What motivated you to make that move?
Weather. What motivated me is my son is out of high school a couple years now. He's kind of doing his own thing. We didn't visit that much besides some FaceTime. He was my main objective for moving up to Oregon in the first place. So we've established our relationship. There's teen years and trouble he went through and then came out of. And I was satisfied with at the time that he was happy for me to make whatever journey forward that I could for myself. He was fully supportive of that. So there's
Awesome.
nothing else holding me back.
Well, that's awesome, Jeff.
No, yeah, just the relationships I built at the fitness studios with those people. Those were positive, uplift. They were eye opening, and I said long goodbyes for 2 months. They knew I was leaving. I said goodbye to everybody. Everybody's going to miss me. Um, Employers, clients, but I knew they were in good hands. I'm one trainer, but there's a lot of good trainers out there, and I have a lot of unique qualities, and I have a lot of personality to offer, which I'm happy to offer to new people. So I knew they were in good hands, but I left them, and I picked up, and I decided to rebuild, reestablish, and start fresh here.
Sometimes that's the best way to do it, especially when you're in momentum.
Yeah, I just kept my momentum going.
Yeah.
I did. I picked up, and I knew it was going to be a little struggle. I knew there was going to be times where I didn't know there was going to be room in the house to set up a gym. I didn't have that exact plan
Yeah.
in mind.
See
I
how it
didn't.
changes? Yeah, it changes. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there just happened to be the perfect place, the perfect space, and my location in the city is I'm totally happy with. I'm sure I'm going to help a lot of people.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And the opportunities are endless as long as you're pushing, man. That hustle on the inside is all it takes, man. Doors do open all by themselves. It just finds it's amazing. I'll
And
be
I'm
out.
like I'm thinking, hey, if nobody ever comes see me, I've got my own gym.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, that's
If
great. Yeah,
nobody ever
yeah.
comes to see me, I can be in the best shape of my life. And that's
Well, no,
going
well,
to
not
be
only
good
that, but
enough.
you'll be
The
videoing it.
worst
So,
case scenario.
well, no, you'll be videoing it, so we'll be watching it on YouTube. We'll be watching it on
Yeah,
TikTok, man.
yeah.
Yeah. So how's that going? What do you think it takes to get traction on TikTok?
That's interesting. I posted a deadlift video, and all of a sudden my views weren't going up at all. I was at zero for hours, and I was like, "Oh, great!" So I was like doing a little research. Why is my TikTok video at zero? And they do reviews sometimes, and I thought I'm making the algorithm mad somehow. And so I reposted it with some music, did a little something different. It went up, but I tell you what, I didn't even get 100 views on my deadlift video, and I thought, this is crazy. Like deadlift is like mainstream. I got to get people picking up that heavy weight and putting it back down. That's one of the ones I wanted them to see. And then, so to get that traction now, I can see where I'm at. I can see I'm at like a 200 view per video average. Uh, to get that traction, I'm sure I'm going to have to bump up the production quality a little bit. So I'm slowly doing that. So production quality, editing, probably make it a little more exciting. Even though I'm going to be doing the same stuff,
Yeah.
I'm going to be promoting these
I
compound
yeah,
exercises,
yeah, without a doubt.
but I'm
Um,
going to do what it takes to build the audience. So realistically, I want exposure, and maybe this podcast will help.
yeah,
Uh, and just I'm not like I'm not. There's nothing new. I'm not. There's nothing newfangled about what I'm promoting. I'm back to basics. I'm back to like to get strong. We're gonna do the big three. We're gonna do some bent over rows. We're gonna do some bench press. We're gonna do some squats and some deadlifts. And there's a bunch of other stuff we can add in. But let's get down to what we can do in 20 minutes. If you've only got 20 minutes, you can warm up 5 minutes of just jogging in place, a few windmills, depending on the exercise you're about to do.
Yep.
Do a couple warm-up sets, do a couple work sets. Give yourself 2 or 3, even 4 or 5 days off from that major muscle group, and you're going to get stronger and you're going to feel the
Really?
benefits.
So really, you
Yeah.
think 5 days? I've never heard. Okay.
You
Wow.
can do a muscle group. You can do squats once a week. You can do bench press once a week, and you can
That's true.
get stronger. You can get progress from just that.
But you're crushing it on that one day though.
You're crushing it on that day. You're
Okay.
giving it all you got.
So how? Well, what does that? What does that entail? How long are we talking?
For the workout itself,
Well, what if I'm gonna do? If I'm gonna do, let's say, deadlifts once a
yeah,
week. Are
once
we
a week.
talking how many hours?
Not an hour, just an hour.
Really?
I mean, like
Okay.
you can, if you're gonna do deadlifts once a week, you will recover,
Yep.
and you will be at a stronger point if you're
Every single
consistent.
time is it
Every single time. Well, for a while until you reach like some kind of your own
plateau?
personal
Yeah.
plateau where you'll slow down your progress. But then you're your strongest, and then you're lifting your strongest lift
Yeah.
every week,
Well, and
and
that's all you ever
and
want. There's nobody on earth that wants.
that's
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
want, right?
yeah. Wow.
Um,
I didn't know once a week. Okay. I could.
Honestly, like two, I consider I'm doing probably 3 working sets where I'm full effort for the workout. So it's like 3 warm-up sets, 3 working sets, deadlifts. That's once a week. That's all I need. And then on that second and third working set, I'm probably doing 6, 7, 8 reps down to maybe like 4 or 5 reps for that last set of high effort,
Wow.
you know,
That's awesome. Okay.
where I'm fully engaged. My whole body is working.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. I mean,
Wow.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
People don't want to push that hard. People want to go, more people are willing to go longer with less effort, and you're going to get less out of it.
True. True.
Quality of effort is one of my favorite terms, because I was training people on slow moving, high intense strength training for 20 minutes a day, 20 to 25 minutes. We could do the full body if you arrange the program to where you're kind of switching the opposing muscles between, from each set.
No kidding. So
Opposing
20 minutes. 20 minutes a day. 5 days
20
a week.
minutes,
5 days a week.
2 days a week.
No, come on, really?
That's the minimum for you to still find
Progress.
uh, gains and strength
Wow.
gains and progress.
No kidding.
But that depends on it's very dependent on your technique as far as how intense for how long during each set. You can't there's no relaxing point if you're going to do a 20-minute
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just
workout.
crush it. Yeah, you gotta just
You're,
kill it.
you're
You're
crushing
killing
it. If you're going
Okay.
for full body twice a week, if that's all you have time for, that's what I'm saying. That's what we can work out. We can do that bench press, and then when that bench press set's done, we're going to rows. We're going to the
Right
opposing
now.
muscle group
Right now. We're
right
not. We're
now.
not drinking water
Less
and
than 30
talking about.
second
Yeah, yeah,
intervals.
yeah. You,
Yeah.
you, you, you
So
get
we're
to
going to it. So your stimulation is up here the whole time,
the whole time.
and your body's working, your whole body's working. You're done. You're done.
That's amazing. That's
Now, if you
awesome.
have more time, we can spread that out. We can do a little bit different programs. Right now I kind of do a little bit more split for myself. I'll do today I did the pull-ups, this grip, chin-ups.
Okay.
Then I did some cardio. I did 3 minutes jump rope. So I
Yeah.
did 4 sets of this. One back to back like that. That's 1 set. Back to back like that. That's 2 sets. Then I went to those bent over rows. So that's a full bicep, back, it's lats, it's my traps, it's my rhomboids in between my shoulder blades, it's my rear delts,
Yeah.
that whole thing. And then I can split it, and maybe tomorrow I'll do, or no, actually Monday I did more chest, triceps. I took a plate, just 145 plate, put it behind my head, nice and slow and controlled, but heavy enough to where I'm straining. I'm under tension the whole time. There's no like resting up here. I'm going Oh boy. I mean, maybe towards the end you
Yeah.
get a couple more reps, but you want it to burn.
I was just
You
gonna
know,
say, man,
you
that
want to get
burn
that
feels fantastic,
stimulation.
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
you
lot of
want to get that
satisfaction.
stimulation.
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
I
Um,
split it so I can do the whole major muscle groups once a week, just about like that. And if I'm limited on whatever I'm doing, what I'm saying is for myself, 3 times a week for those heavy compound movements, plenty of recovery from those muscle groups in between, and then I'll throw those for the other days because I want to keep my momentum going. I'll do a little bit more heavy cardio. I'll do like a 24-minute high intensity intervals on the air bike,
okay.
and then maybe another day I'll do a full kettlebell workout,
Yeah.
which is just more anaerobic combined with aerobic exercises, for because I do like cardio too, and I do love to burn those extra calories because I like to eat.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
love the
how.
E2, man. I love the
Yeah.
E2.
So then if I get like 5 or 6, 5 or 6 workout days, and it's hard after if I'm doing that kind of momentum to even tell myself to take one full day off and just go for a walk or something for
Do
that
you?
one for that.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be honest with you. When I really got into this, I did 7 days a week, and
that's
it was
fine.
closer to an hour and a half, 2 hours. And
That's a lot.
yeah, I know. So now it's 5 days a week, no more than 5 days a week, and
Okay,
it's
so you did find
close.
your
I had to. Yeah, it was too
you
much.
found your rhythm. That's what I
Yeah.
call it, finding your rhythm.
Uh, it was such a hard place to come to because I changed my mindset so much by doing what I did that it was so hard to come down to reality. But
Yeah,
I needed to. I really needed to. I didn't want anything else in my life to suffer. It was self evident that something was going to have
yeah.
to give for and it wasn't worth it.
Because your body works better with the right amount.
Exactly.
We wouldn't call it
Yes.
less or more, call it the right amount. I have a gal just spoke to recently. She said she was working with her trainer and was her intense her she loved to do an hour and a half high intensity aerobic and some anaerobic activity thrown in there. And but she wasn't losing any weight. She said she was eating right. And I thought, well, there's scientific evidence that shows if you do too intense for your own body without the proper everything else, then you can actually your body will compensate will by slowing down. It'll say, wow, we're gonna like lose something that we're I don't know. I'm there.
Yeah.
I've read a couple articles where I would suggest to her this is gonna be the hardest thing for me to suggest to her because I'm still gonna talk to her in the future, is to say, let's experiment. And you gotta cut your workouts in half and let's change nothing else. And let's see what happens after a month of that. And that's going to be the hardest thing to convince her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
in your mind, this is what makes me a better person. This is what makes me stronger. This is what makes me happier. And it's very hard to convince someone otherwise.
Yeah.
I had to come to that place on my own, and it was not an easy thing to do.
Hmm. But
Yeah.
she wanted to drop body fat. So she was not reaching her overall goals. Maybe she was feeling great about that workout. It probably was making her kind of feel, woo, I'm in charge. But her body was kind of her metabolism wasn't exactly in tune to where as good as it could be if she just
Yeah.
took it down. So
And it sucks. I feel horrible, but it's a lot harder for females. They have such a hard time, man. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't
we
know
just
what.
stopped drinking soda and beer, and
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I lost 100 pounds. It didn't take long to lose 100 pounds.
hey, that's for 100. That's excellent.
I think I'm gonna say 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it took 3 months.
That was when you just switched it for those hour and a half workouts.
Switched it immediately, man.
Yeah, wow.
Changed my diet.
I'm glad you didn't fall off the deep end and quit
No,
after all
oh
that.
no, no. Like I said, man, I changed my mind so much that I'll be honest with you. If I stopped, I think my whole life would unravel.
Right.
Sounds kind of weird, right? I never
Not to
thought.
me,
Yeah, I think my whole life would
but it
unravel.
does to
Yeah,
the majority.
yeah, it's weird, man.
Like your life is unraveling. Let's try a workout. And they're like, how does that make any sense? I'm like, just you got to trust me for a little while.
Yeah,
You have to trust me for a little while, and then you'll feel that balance. That's where I kind of come up with that name, more strength, more balance. Is It just helps with your balance in life. It helps you get that perspective. It helps you be more productive. It helps me.
Oh, it changes
I'm
everything.
more,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to do more for myself and others. I don't
Was
think I'd be able, reading. Like I don't read, but I read every day now, and I try to
Isn't that
continue
great?
my education wherever I feel inspired to continue it.
And we live in a time in history where there's never been more books readily available for free than ever in the history of mankind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love reading on my Amazon, on my Kindle app, or I
Yeah.
just
If
go
you've
to
got
Goodreads.
Amazon Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, I think you get two
You get
books
a
a
bunch of
month.
books.
Yeah, you get
Yeah,
two books a month free.
yeah.
Not just for that alone. I think my daughter still uses that occasionally. But the library, just your local library, has
Hmm.
millions of books, and I believe most libraries are hooked up to the sharing thing where if you can't find the book, but there's another library a couple cities over, they'll actually bring it to you.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You
sure
can come
most
back in a
libraries.
couple of
Yeah, I
days.
think most libraries do that because I've had that done before. So the limitation there is very little limitation if you want to learn something new.
No, there's yeah. I hear the young kids talking about how much it's going to cost them to go to school, and I'm like, I'm not sure if that university is the right thing for you to be shelling your dough out for.
Well, not only that, but they're only in class like 3 hours a day.
Yeah, they're making you do all the work anyways.
Yeah, man. So
Like, here's
you
the book
paid
that
all
you
that
could have found
money
anyway.
for a guy that doesn't care at all
No,
to
barely.
show you the
Totally.
book and tell you need to read this, and I'll tell you if you read it good enough.
Hmm.
I need you to regurgitate it the way I want you to regurgitate it. So it's not even personalized. You're not trying to internalize it at all. You're trying to press out that assignment just to make him happy so you can get that diploma.
Yeah.
That's the wrong way to look at it, man. You're supposed to absorb that book. It's like eating food, man. You should change you a little bit. It should give you a whole nother perspective on that topic.
Yeah, you really should have stuff to, you should have an activity list from reading.
Yeah. Each book I've read, especially a good one, has completely changed my outlook on something.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, yeah, especially if it's
I'm
a good one.
reading I'm reading a good one now, The Psychology of Money. It's only come out the last couple years. I think
Very
it's
cool.
2019, and it's really good. It's mostly, there's some technical stuff in, but he's talking about how we think about money and investing, how people need to be in it for the long game. And he also mentions a bunch of his friends that go to school and as doctors and lawyers and hate their job.
That's a miserable place to be. Who?
There's not enough people that there's more than enough people to mention in that category.
What did Joe Rogan say? It's quiet desperation. It's like you're dying on the inside, um, just screaming to get out of that 9 to 5 job. So,
Well, you're stuck in it because another thing it talks about is all these investing people are investing in liabilities instead of actual uh, equities, and I can't even think of the right word.
well, you want your rate of return to be a decent amount. You don't want it to depreciate. You're paying interest on a vehicle that literally is worthless when you're done. That that's not how you become rich or how you become financially
Well,
independent.
if you need a vehicle, buy something that'll just get you around until your investments start paying for your vehicle instead
Yeah.
of your job.
Yes. Yes.
That's the whole idea.
Actually, that's right down the line of Rich Man, Poor Man, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He
Yeah,
went.
just
He
finished
went.
that one.
Yeah, yeah, that was a great book too, and I like that one because it was really simple. I want you to explain it to me like I'm 8 years old and I'm stupid because I don't
Yeah,
want it in all these complicated, almost like
formulas.
cryptive way of speaking. I heard someone say one time, if you're writing a law and it's too many pages or it's too complicated, you either did it on purpose or it's because you don't understand it.
Right.
And the same thing with a book. I don't need you to explain it to me the most complicated way possible. A good example of why that's so important is if you're really good at a sport, you're so good when I watch you that it makes me feel like I can do it.
Right.
You know, you look at LeBron James, you're like, man, he did that so. He flew around there so quick and was so smooth. I can do it. Obviously, when I get out there, I can. But Tiger Woods, there's so many guys that'll make it look so easy.
They'll be like, "Oh, I can."
I can swing that club like that.
Did you
Yeah,
see how
man.
effortless that was? But no,
But
it's because he's been doing it since he was 3.
exactly. And if you understand your topic properly, it shouldn't be too complicated. Do you understand? When you really meet someone that really knows what they're talking about, they can explain it to you.
In fewer words, right?
Yeah.
Or no words, and actually have you learn something by an example or your own, you know, personal lesson,
Yes, and
like
you
you
could you
said
could
Ford was
and you could
talking about.
sniff it out a mile away. You could sniff it
Right.
out when someone's just using a thesaurus and picking words that aren't theirs. You could smell it. There's no depth to the conversation. Um, Jeff, I appreciate you, man. Where do you see this going in 18 months, 2 years?
It's hard to say, Regan, because the plan for training people in person is kind of like a, okay, that's probably the smart thing to do. That's probably where I can get some good traction quickly, as opposed to like trying to build audience online and convincing people, or I don't know what's going to happen online. But maybe if I can imagine it, I would say I'd have just the best clientele, the perfect clientele to invite to my home for some really high quality training sessions that don't burden me, that I set my schedule with, that I can get personal with, that I can make a difference for. And then online, the same thing. I want to affect maybe a large audience, maybe create some educational programs or training that people hear relate to me. Not that I'm saying a bunch of different things, but that I'm saying it to be understood by more people. That I'm explaining it from my experience and not just from what I read, but it may be a combination of both. And so to deliver those kind of messages and see maybe on platforms where people uh, can access this anytime and see something substantially financially uh, for myself in going that avenue,
That's awesome.
creating
Sounds
the educational material too.
Jeff, that sounds great, man.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and I can't wait to see how it plays out, man. Because I'm telling you, there's so many little snafus of ideas that can be weaved into there, and the sky's the limit, man.
And the consulting,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to implement that because just the idea of starting the LLC,
Yeah.
having some credibility online with building an audience, with demonstrations, with some information that some people will be able, and the people that I've trained over the last couple of years that can that can uh, that can I'm trying to think of the right way, that that can help me build trust. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Word of mouth. You're looking for word of mouth and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, the idea of that and build the yeah. So the idea of the LLC,
Building up your
not
clientele.
just like a piece of paper, but to add like that I'm serious about what I can
Bring to the
provide.
table. Yeah, you can bring to the
Yeah,
table all kinds of stuff, man.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Jeff. Go ahead and plug away your Instagram, your TikTok, all that good stuff.
Well, like I mentioned, the TikTok's fun to. It's quick to edit. You can do the voiceovers. So if I do a quick video of some exercise, like I just posted the bent over rows, I really want people to um, view it, comment, ask me questions. Like I'm ready to go ahead and start servicing for free. I can offer some consultation right now on programs. I've been trying to build an audience, build some credibility, and just get people excited about get them started to where if they want to keep going further, then we can dive into more personal messaging, video chatting, and such like that. But if they want to go to my TikTok channel, everything's named the same: More Strength, More Balance. TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page is something I've been working on and promoting, trying to get people to also join the group. So, Strength Training for a Better Life, my Facebook group, and I'm offering a lot of the same things. I want people to ask questions about what they're concerned about with their own, what can be done, and then what can they do personally. And it's these are short conversations, 20-minute consultations sometimes that I'm not charging anybody for right now.
Yes.
And I'm happy to do a message or a video chat and talk about their nutrition, talk about their limitations or their obstacles when it comes to exercise, what they've done in the past, what they're interested in, and get them started.
Yeah.
Get them started, get them
And they should
excited,
take advantage of it. Being able to
find
talk to
momentum.
someone that's willing to do that for free, you can't beat that opportunity.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be free forever.
There you go.
Uh,
On that note, Jeff, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Regan. I really appreciate you reaching out and getting this chance to talk.
Weather is good, sun is shining, shining. Don't get my vibe.